Hi guys, a super duper quick intro this time around. I'm preparing the material for the school. There are just few spots left for this first basically class that is starting on the 16th, the week of the 16th, so you still have time. You can contact me if you need to arrange some payment schedule. So my basically email and the website is below in the description. And also the next basically school term is going to be May the 15th, so maybe you kind of like want to target for the next kind of entry, which kind of could be better. So thank you so much for being here for me. I would highly appreciate if you like and subscribe and share. That means a lot to me. And also please follow me on Instagram and Facebook, because there I kind of have the tidbits about tarot. On Facebook you also have daily tarot, so that's something to look at. And lastly, join me for my live sessions. So for that you need to be a subscriber to be notified so you know when it is. And that's it. Talk to you next month. Love you. Hi Scorpio, and welcome to your April-May Lenormand monthly, bi-monthly, rather to say. Let me open this up with, this is a general reading. It's not catered for anybody personally. It's sort of like reading the energy that is coming from your sign. So for private reading, please contact me via cattarot.ca. So let's see what we have. I have these two main significators, the gentleman and the lady. So because it's general, either of them can be you, both of them can be you, or neither of them could be you, where they actually represent somebody you really think about. So hence the energy is present. So having said that, let's start. So first of all, one of the significators is in the house of the ship. So I don't know if for some reason you are separated from your partner, and it could be literally legal separation because of the involvement of the snake. It looks like somebody fell in love with somebody on the side. So there is like that ship basically that they are in the house of, and this is in the house of a stork. So I'm really wondering if that was a work romance, a work affair, something definitely secretive over here, but also something that made this person very happy. If this is you, then maybe you were kind of like having something covered up. This doesn't have to necessarily mean a third party. This can mean you, your life. Not always do we come out blasting, oh, I am with so and so and blah blah blah, right? You kind of like wait for that turbulent initial period, 3 to 6 months, to kind of like ramp up before you announce the news. Hey, you know, it's steady, so and so is my partner. So this could actually represent us, because I actually do see here quite a big love, I have to say. The tower is in the house of the skies. So tower is signifying something legal, I would say, or decision. And I would say that for some of you guys, you may be deciding where to live. including moving to a different city or different country. So I also see that there is some kind of karmic period in front of you. After all, you have the cross, and in the house of the cross we have the mice. So the cross here is in the house of the house. So I think you are reaching clarity. You're trying to reach clarity. Who do I want to keep close to my chest, and who I don't want to be kind of like close to that much, right? So there is like this issue of circumstances in your life with people who are, I guess, taking things away from you or messing things up for you, right? Whenever you see the mice, it's some kind of loss which kind of like it's facing. And this can also be something connecting to your work that kind of like feels harsh. It could be connecting to some kind of gossip, somebody undermining your efforts, and of course it can literally mean you're dealing with a whole bunch of rodents in the house, right? Now, the good news is, is it a good news? This being in the house of hardship and finish, right? It is talking about some kind of anxiety, right? It's talking about feeling kind of like shaken up for some reason. The key is in the house of the anchor, which is right next to it, which kind of is the only clue. Maybe you kind of like wanted to settle something down, and it kind of like felt that it's going that way, but maybe it's going to reach some kind of upheaval instead. And that's kind of like reaching confusion for some reason, because look at this, that formalities, that something announcing to the world, hey, this positivity that kind of like you feel, and also the sun and the moon, that's some kind of big success. Almost like you broke your own personal ceiling, your own record in something. I don't know, like reaching a different level, getting out of that fog, because look at the clouds are dissipating, right? So the child can mean a new romance, or like new breath of air in the old romance, kind of like new feelings of satisfaction, right? It's actually all good over here, except the snake. And the snake is in the house of a clover, which kind of is here in the house of the lilies. So what does it mean? Being lilies right next to it over here. It's a crossroad. I think you might deal, the reason why you were hiding this was to hide away from someone who may still be present in your life. And I think you will be facing this, do I really want to cut it off? And I don't think this is this new person, because this new person is right here. You are standing with this new person. It's kind of like reaching the sunny clarity. Hey, I want to do that. You know, like we all have these issues, and then one day it just like hits you, oh my gosh, this is what I want. This person makes me so freaking happy, and I want to move forward. But then I'm seeing, like, this is usually really, really good, moon and the stars. So hence, this means this most likely is your decision. You're saying, you know what, certain things are not sustainable anymore. And maybe because this is in the house of garden, so no more dating, right? No more dating. This has to do with some kind of like independent business attitude. I don't know how this is connecting, which kind of like can mean simply stabilizing, because you do have the key in the house of the anchor. You're putting like the anchor down, which anchor is in the house of the heart to kind of like boot, right? You kind of like are kind of like sailing. You are on the course, so kind of like stay the course, Scorpio, over here. So the other partner feels a little bit the other significator, which also could be you. So this could be like simply that you have these two different attitudes toward two different elements of life, right? So again, something has to transform, and you guys really like this death and coffin cards and goths and stuff. Not to say the word that I wanted, but the anchor means, hey, I am staying. I am here to stay. So, but it's something, and again, it's connecting to something from work and something from the past. Something that is still your personal challenge, kind of like to deal with. It's kind of like you have the fox here and then you have a fish here, both of them in a direct connection. And there was like this feeling of passion. The whip is in the house of the coffin, which is also next to you. And whip is many things. Of course, it can mean anger. It can mean cracking the whip, right? It meaning like something, you know, has to be revived, which kind of like is the way I see it here, because the coffin is falling in the house of the mice. Certain things and little kind of eroding things that kind of like were maybe nagging you. Maybe somebody's nagging you, maybe kind of like feeling, you know, sometimes you cannot even describe people with the word. All you can hear is like one particular sound, like or kind of like that can really describe people so well. So since you kind of like feel, some of you might feel really work dedicated, because after all, this is the house of the moon, and kind of like giving your best to kind of like performance and your loyalty and your full heart in it. So maybe you're kind of realizing there is like too much on your plate, and you kind of like do not want to deal with certain issues anymore. So you're kind of like realizing what is staying and what's not staying, right? Anchor is also a goal. So when when the ship puts the anchor down, it's like when they're in a harbor, right? So that almost like would be like that star card in tarot, right? It's also a symbol of faithfulness. It's a symbol of love. So that's why the hell is the coffin here? Who was sneaky? There is like certainly like whenever you're thinking about the past and it kind of like looks like this is what you have been doing, this is Mercury retrograde after all, kind of like I can see this like meandering in the past. But I think you're kind of like making this decision, the past is going to stay in the past. But this is giving you're really great stability. So some of you will stabilize, some of you will kind of like decide what stays, what goes. It is somebody who is, some of you are either goal oriented and dependable and solid, or you are looking for people who are that or just like nothing else. This, by the way, can indicate somebody with tattoos, or somebody who could be a sailor or somebody in the Navy, sort of a thing, right? But it's certainly stability. But for some of you, can literally mean the opposite, instability, and kind of trying to figure out, as I said, who is staying, who is going, but more or less what is that you want, because this dog is the key, and this is in the house of the sun. So for you to shine in this period of time is kind of like really important. Two things: loyalty, three things: loyalty, stability, and SEX. So I think that's a pretty good plan, Scorpio. So give me your comments. I always love to hear Scorpio comments. You guys kind of like don't beat around the bush, and I like that. And please subscribe, share, and like. That kind of like means a lot to me. And you can find Daily Tarot on my Facebook, and you can also follow me on Instagram. And lastly, the Tarot School is almost full, just like 3 spots for the upcoming next week. But then I'm going to start the new run in the mid of May, because this first group is pioneering, and so kind of like they will be ahead of you about 4 lessons. So feel free to check it on my site, cattarot.ca, and you can also get your private reading. And if you want Lenormand, just write it in your kind of order that you want, the entire or partial Lenormand, and I will respect that. Thank you guys so much, and have a wonderful time. The egg spreads are coming next, I believe, next week. Love you.